Welcome to tonight's live broadcast. My name is Shiksha Arora. This is KBC Channel 1 and you're watching Easy Friday. The sign language interpreter tonight is Brian Muraru. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are in Nairobi. It is a rainy night, of course, and that's something that we as Kenyans have been witnessing. Heavy rains throughout the country, and that is as a result of the El Nino. So we'll be talking about that. And of course, apart from that, we also have the cost of living. The Kenya Conference of Catholics Bishops have something to say. They've expressed concerns over the hardships that have been faced by low-income citizens. So we'll be also looking at that later on. Remember, sports as well as business news later on, and a special Diwali program at 10 p.m. So make sure you're tuned in right here ahead of Diwali on Sunday. So all that and much more right here on Easy Friday. For now, it's time for the highlights.
We have activated multi-agency teams and mobilized technical and financial resources for easier response.
El Nino phenomenon it is. Government heightens emergency response as weatherman confirms current rains are a result of the El Nino phenomenon. Governor Kawira's olive branch. Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza asked for forgiveness as she returns to a jubilant reception in Meru County amid concerns on the fate of the politically troubled county. And cost of living headache. Catholic bishops ask government to cushion low-income households from the rising cost of living. Welcome to Easy Friday, and top of the news bulletin tonight. The government has tightened emergency response to the enhanced rainfall after the weathermen confirmed the heavy rains being experienced across the country are as a result of the El Nino phenomenon. Speaking in Nairobi after intensive consultations with government agencies, stakeholders and development partners, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that a multi-agency response team is mobilizing needed resources to avert loss of lives and property during the El Nino period. More than 19 counties in ASAL and non-ASAL areas have been adversely affected by the continuing heavy rains, with sections of roads cut off in counties such as Wajir, Isiolo, Mandera, Marsabit, Tana River and Garissa. Take a look.
The government has confirmed that the ongoing rains are as a result of the El Nino rains. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua saying that the government will deploy all necessary measures to ensure safety of all Kenyans during this period.
We have activated multi-agency teams and mobilized technical and financial resources for easier response. The Emergency Response Committee is coordinating a consolidated approach for efficiency and effective action. This is preventing duplication of the response as well as ensuring no place or person is left behind.
And moving forward, let's prepare ourselves for the enhanced rainfall as a result of the El Nino phenomenon that we are in.
Speaking on Friday, the second-in-command said through the National Emergency Response Committee, the government and other partners have taken measures to reduce the negative impact of the rains. Rigathi says aircrafts have been deployed for evacuation of the marooned families to safer grounds.
The government and other partners have taken a raft of measures to reduce the negative impact of the rains, including 1. Deployment of aircrafts by the Kenya Defence Forces for evacuation of marooned families to safe grounds.
He said that more than 19 counties in Asal and non-Asal areas have been adversely affected by the continued heavy rains, with sections of roads cut off in the counties such as Wajir, Isiolo, Mandera, Marsabit, Tana River, Garissa, among others.
We take this opportunity to request the county governments to reallocate resources to mitigate this emergency.
The Deputy President, who chairs the National Emergency Response Committee, at the same time said the government has put mechanisms in place to help families that have been displaced, especially in northern Kenya and downstream in areas like Tana River.
In working with our development partners, counties and other key agencies, we are distributing food, maize, rice, beans and cooking oil, and non-food items to tens of families affected to reduce their suffering.
Timothy Kipnosu for Easy Friday.
And on to matters education, where the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Education has proposed a 62.2 billion shillings increment to the education sectors in the supplementary budget allocation for the 2023-2024 financial year. The proposed increment by the Julius Melly-led committee will see the State Department for Higher Education and Teachers Service Commission receives a lion's share of 29.3 billion shilling and 19.8 billion shillings respectively. Joseph Wahungu now reports that the proposed changes will have a huge bearing in the new university funding model.
2 months after the launch of the new university funding model, the model has continued to be riddled by controversy, with claims of numerous students yet to benefit. Their prayers now seemingly answered following the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Education's proposal for an additional allocation of 14.1 billion shillings to support the implementation of the funding model. According to Melly, the observed changes stem from key provisions, including 5 billion shillings allocation for capitation for junior secondary schools JSS learners, 19.8 billion shillings for addressing personal emoluments shortfalls, and 15.5 billion shillings for enhanced appropriation aid collection.
I wanted to know whether any monies were disbursed since the introduction of this model.
They have now enough money. In fact, this morning I was in discussion with the CEO and he said he's now disbursing the pocket money. Almost the highest student will get 60,000 out of pocket. And it will now, he's now disbursing all these resources, both scholarship and loans, to all the students across the Republic.
Other increments the committee is proposing include 100 million shillings for the Kenya University and College Central Placement Services for enhanced security measures and 770 million shillings for secondary school infrastructure improvement. The committee is, however, proposing a reduction of 3.6 billion shillings in the allocation of the Higher Education Loans Board, citing absorption capacity concerns, and a further reduction of 100 million shillings allocated to support Open University. Meanwhile, 9 examination center managers have been suspended as the Ministry of Education steps up its effort to curb cheating in the ongoing Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE exams. Speaking separately in Busia and Naivasha, where they monitored the examination exercise, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu and Basic Education Principal Secretary Dr. Bilio Kipsang confirmed that efforts to curb cheating in the exams have borne fruits.
Due to that particular approach and the kind of mechanism and measures that we were able to put in place, we were able to be very effective in preventing and curbing the cheating and the malpractices.
For Easy Friday, Joseph Wahungu.
Meanwhile, a day after the Senate threw out an impeachment motion against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza, the governor returned to her Meru backyard to a rousing reception by her supporters. The jubilant governor crossed River Kathita, the entry to Meru town, on foot, making several stopovers across the town. In her address, Governor Kawira extended an olive branch to her political nemesis, asking for forgiveness to anyone she may have wronged, even as she called for a fresh start for the sake of development. This comes as Tigania East MP Mpuru Aburi demanded an apology from the governor, accusing her of misrepresenting facts in the videos played during the Senate hearings, which he says painted him in bad light. Mpuri says he will take legal action against the governor.
Nina imani na kina mama ya kwamba ile lugha ambayo ilitumika na saizi naenda kwa DC au kuandika statement defamation ambaye imefanyika katika Senate yetu ya Kenya, ya kwamba ile video ambayo ilionyezanwa katika ile mbunge nchi yetu ya Kenya ya Senate ilikuwa edited, ambaye ile mambo yote niliongea Ile mambo yote niliongea niko nayo katika hii nini video yangu ambayo niliongea yote. Si kuongea mambo ya kiviri ya kufuruga mama.
And still on the Meru governor impeachment, the Senate may have handed Meru Governor Karan Patel a political lifeline by rejecting to uphold her impeachment by the county assembly. However, queries abound on what next for the politically troubled Mount Kenya East County. Legal pundits opine while she may have escaped ouster, for the second time in a row, the political bruises remain, and it will take much more than a vote to calm the political tensions between the governor and other county elected leaders. Our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim had a sit-down with pundits to examine the legal and political power plays in impeachment of county bosses.
Even before the dust settles on the verdict by the Senate clearing Meru Governor Karan Patel of impeachment charges, the verdict remains fodder for debate. At the fore are legal pundits who have hailed the verdict but maintain there is more than meets the eye.
First of all, we want to congratulate the Senate for the amazing job that they have done in the last few days. This was the 14th impeachment that they have handled, and by now they have already set the jurisprudence on what is the basis for impeachment in this country and what the county assemblies have to satisfy the Senate before they can impeach a governor.
Constitutional lawyer Kwame Emerson argues the ruling sets a precedent that will perhaps slow down impeachment motions by the county assemblies that in some cases are politically engineered.
The Senate has been very emphatic that once a county assembly makes some allegations, for example, the allegations made against Governor Mwangaza about nepotism and misappropriation of funds, that they actually have to present evidence in terms of the actual paperwork that they allege has been, which is the proof of the allegations, and they actually have to come and present a credible case in the Senate. Unfortunately for the Meru County Assembly, this was not the case.
Article 181 of the Constitution stipulates that a devolved head can only be impeached on grounds of gross violation of the Constitution, committing a crime, abuse of office, and physical or mental incapacity to perform the functions assigned to the office of a governor.
The four grounds of impeachment under Article 181 must be clearly proven, a basis must be laid, a proper basis must be laid under Article 181 for the county assembly to proceed to impeach the governor. And I think for the county assemblies all across the country, they have to go back, they have to look at Article 181, look back at all the 14 impeachments that have come before the Senate, and look at what really moved the Senate, and realize that today we cannot impeach governors on the mere allegations, and you have to actually make a proper case.
Abel Asuma, an advocate of the High Court, says Parliament should fast-track enactment of the impeachment bill of 2018. This, he argues, could end the culture of impeachment of county bosses on political grounds.
Around 13 years since we enacted the Constitution, to finally have an impeachment bill, or rather an impeachment act, to ensure that now going forward we have clearly laid out procedures and the standards to be met, so that the judicial pronouncements that have so far been made from the case of Martin Wambora, from the Mike Sonko case, it's now time that all such judicial pronouncements are now codified into a statute to avoid such embarrassing situations like the one that we have just experienced in Meru.
The proposed bill seeks to harmonize procedures to be applied in considering a motion for removal of a president, governor, deputy governor, cabinet secretary, or even a county executive committee member. Moses Dagai, a constitutional expert, says it is time to have a candid conversation on how impeachment motions are introduced and debated in the counties.
It is time the roles of county assemblies in terms of granting governors an opportunity to be heard before the county assembly during the impeachment process, it's time that such processes are codified to ensure that even a governor gets a fair hearing before the county assembly.
And we should not allow such grievances to be able to impeach governors. Such kind of grievances should not even reach the Senate. We should have a way of filtering these non-essential issues which can be sorted out at the county level.
Additionally, political experts are of the view that the governor is not out of the woods yet. She will have to rely on the county assembly to transact county businesses, while operations within the county executive may not be rosy either, owing to the rift between her and her deputy. History has shown a pen chart for county assemblies to impeach governors, raising queries on the triggers. Since the advent of devolution 10 years ago, over 10 impeachments have been tabled before the county assemblies. Former Embu Governor Martin Wambora went down in history as the first governor to face more than 4 impeachment motions and survived. Others who were impeached and survived were former governors Mwangi wa Iria, Paul Chepkwony, Granton Samboja, and the late Nderitu Gachagua. Those who are not so lucky were former governors Mike Mbuvi Sonko, Ferdinand Waititu, Mohamed Abdi Mohamud. However, he was reinstated by the courts. Abdiaziz Ashim for Easy Friday.
All right, and with that, it's time for us to take our first short commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. After we return, we talk about the cost of living and what Catholic bishops have to say. Stay tuned.
Cheza Loto Moto. School fees ya msichana imemalizwa.
Loto Moto. May the Almighty God bless you. Keep on doing the right thing.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto. Did you do that? Amador, you killed her. Because she's better off dead. Carolina is dead, Mother. She is dead because of me. Look, Mother.
I don't know where to start.
What's the matter, Sergio?
That baby has a family that will love it and take care of it. Alejandra is going to marry me. I asked for Mrs. Amparo's blessing and she said...
Because I am telling you right to your face that the baby in your womb is obviously not mine.
She's been missing for hours. Danielle went to look for her, but she's nowhere to be found.
Danielle, what are you doing here at this hour?
No, the question is, what are you doing here?
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, Head of Public Service Felix Koskei has challenged stakeholders in the information, communication and digital technology sector to accelerate the momentum of digital transformation, terming it a key COG in realization of government's plan to deal with unemployment. Koskei, who spoke when launching the last county connectivity project, also sounded the alarm on the high levels of alcohol abuse among the youth, warning it threatens the country's stability. John Jacob Curia with the details.
The last mile county connectivity project mooted by the Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy will see government officers cut costs of travelling to Nairobi for meetings and equally ensure efficiency in government service delivery. Head of Public Service Felix Koskei, who was in Machakos for the launch of the 4th phase of the project, called on the ICT sector actors to accelerate the momentum of digital transformation to actualize the Kenya Kwanza administration's pledge of creating more jobs.
Ladies and gentlemen, recognizing this context and appreciating the development challenges before the nation, His Excellency the President has chosen to accelerate the country's socio-economic transformation by leveraging on technology and also the thinking behind the prioritization, and this is the thinking behind the prioritization of the digital superhighway and creative economy in the best of land.
We no longer have white-collar jobs. So the only space where we have got abundance of jobs is the digital space. And we are in partnership with members of parliament so that in each and every digital ward in this country, we will have a digital hub.
Koskei, who was accompanied by Information, Communication and the Digital Economy CS Eliud Owalo, hailed the ongoing digitization of government services as a means to improve efficiency in service delivery while sealing revenue leakages.
The President has told us that he is not going to wait for anybody to put his hands in the till, the public till. Akigundua tu uko na nia hata wacha kuwa na nia, akigundua tu umenusa umeenda.
We need to accept that these are new things we don't even know ourselves, and let us allow the young ones to drive this economy and also take us through.
It is the fourth industrial revolution that lends a great opportunity for Africa to not only be on board, but to actually leapfrog.
The head of public service warns that high levels of alcohol abuse among the youth are a threat to the country and are making a mockery efforts by government to create jobs through the digital superhighway.
So assistant chief, ACC, DCC, everybody, MCAs, governors, MPs, let us rise up against this thing so that we can save this generation.
Koskei has once more reiterated President Ruto's stance on corruption, warning that heads will roll in the coming days. The launch of the Last Mile County Connectivity Project is billed as an enabler to the Kenya Kwanza plan of creating a digital superhighway that will oversee the creation of more than 15,000 jobs for the youth in every constituency in the Republic. John Jacob Curia, Easy Friday.
Now, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation has partnered with the Kenya Film Classification Board to create awareness on child-friendly content in a bid to prevent children from being exposed to explicit content. Parents will be sensitized on ways to moderate content consumed by minors in the wake of evolving technology. This coming as millions of learners are on a 2-month school holiday break ahead of the start of the December festivities. Frederick Pasayo with the details.
On Friday morning, KBC and the Kenya Film Classification Board signed a partnership to enlighten parents on the kind of content fit for their children to consume in the wake of the changing technological landscape.
This is a very important collaboration and partnership between KBC and KFCB. And the most important thing is the one government approach on issues. There is a lot of work the team here is doing. But if we partner, they can do more.
KBC Acting Managing Director Samuel Maina, who was at the event, said they will also sensitize parents on their role in influencing the kind of content their children consume as well as safe platforms.
We need to enhance our partnership on this area so that we protect our children. Online services, when you have internet in your house, it is incumbent us to keep reminding our parents and guardians and those caregivers, those who are taking care of our children, you monitor what are they consuming.
The Kenya Film Classification Board lauded the move, terming it as a long-term partnership between the two organizations that will protect minors from consuming explicit content.
Such that we enlighten the public, general public, be it content creators, be it parents, be it children, on how they can really have the best experience on this particular platform without corrupting the moral fabric of our nation and also eroding away the social and cultural aspects.
It will further aid in enforcing compliance as per the mandate of the Kenya Film Classification Board.
Concerns of compliance as something that has come to our attention, and with this we really wanted to have this forum. Then we started conversation on how we can attain compliance.
KBC will also use its platforms to create awareness and enforce compliance.
So the issues of compliance are very key to us. And if there is any area we can collaborate, and especially you people using our platforms on radio stations to educate people on compliance, that is an area we can provide airtime.
This partnership comes as a majority of learners are currently at home following the start of the 2-month school holiday. Parsai Frederick reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, that's KCCB, has expressed concerns at economic hardship faced by low-income citizens and appealed to the government to seek ways of cushioning low-income households from the rising cost of living. Speaking in Nakuru, the bishops called for speedy corrective measures in the country's tax regime, which they say is burdensome to millions of Kenyans who are already struggling to access basic needs. KCCB Chairman Archbishop Martin Martin Kivuva observed that years of inaction on the issues that are pertinent to the nation has taken a heavy toll on citizens.
There seems to be a lack of sensitivity in the way the business persons and individuals are being harassed by the KRA officials in view of collecting more taxes. This has also affected people's morale and sense of hope in a better future.
People, our staff are there. We really appeal once more to government and NHIF to make sure this money is paid to our facilities, because it means life and death to many people in Kenya. It is as serious as that.
We are particularly concerned that the people who are affected most by this situation are those in lower income bracket, and especially the poor and the miserable. This has created an added suffering to the people already strained by recent COVID-19 pandemic and drought effects.
This has given our country a lease of life and renewed hope for peaceful coexistence. Moreover, we believe that the spirit of dialogue can bring about greater progress in political, social stability and common purpose for the good of our nation.
Now, this week's My Culture focuses on My Culture, which Diwali, of course, is the most important holiday on the Hindu calendar. This week, we focus on preparations ahead of the 5-day festival, which symbolizes new beginnings and the triumph of good over evil and light over darkness. And for some, it coincides with harvest and New Year celebrations. Take a look.
Happy Diwali, Happy Diwali.
BAPS Swaminarayan Temple, Nairobi. A bevy of activities, preparations for this year's Diwali, also known as the Festival of Lights, have entered homestretch as devotees finalize on touch-ups at the Mandir. Diwali, also known as the Festival of Lights, is celebrated by millions across the world, where they illuminate oil lamps or candles to symbolize the triumph of light over darkness and good over evil. It is an ancient Hindu festival celebrated annually and is considered to be the most significant festival in Hinduism, while also being celebrated by Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs. The Festival of Lights, which spans 5 days, varies every year depending on the Hindu lunar calendar. The 5 days of Diwali are marked by prayer, feasts, fireworks, family gatherings and charitable giving. The temple has been under renovation in preparation for the Diwali festival, as it will play host to the celebration on 12th November. According to devotees, 95% of the work at the temple is complete, including a state-of-the-art exhibition space depicting the Indian culture, including their social norms, traditions, technology, languages, religion, architecture, science, customs that differ from place to place globally.
Here we have an exhibition on Hinduism which is open to all, and we are preparing it and renovating it and having it ready before Diwali.
At the workshop, it's a sight to behold as young women decorate rangolis with designs made out of colored paint.
Behind me, the girls here are preparing a rangoli. A rangoli is a form of art that signifies happiness, positivity, and liveliness. And we usually do this on the sidewalk of our houses, so in the entrance. So this is usually to welcome God and also welcome all the guests and relatives to come home. The same way we are doing this in the temple to again welcome positivity, happiness, and liveliness, and also now the guests during Diwali and Ankut.
At a different section of the workshop, women prepare the sweets while men bake the sweets.
We usually have sweets given out at on New Year's Day, which is the last day of the 5-day event. And you'll be given like small tins. They're usually sweets inside, which are prepared, handmade, and they're packed and given out. So it's given out to every household that comes here.
Diwali comes from the Sanskrit word Dipavali, meaning rows of lighted lamps.
This came back from the origin from Lord Ram's time, when Lord Ram won over Ravan, who was on the evil side. So since then we celebrate where the village people welcomed him with diyas, and that is how we celebrate Diwali, with diyas.
Houses, shops and public spaces are decorated with small oil lamps called diyas. Many celebrants practice various traditions including prayers, cleaning their homes, baking sweets, decorating with lamps and rangolis with designs made on the floor out of colored sand, powder, rice or flower petals, buying new clothes, preparing festive meals, decorating buildings with lights and fireworks.
Every Hindu house is usually cleaned in every corner, and it's a symbol of removing negativity and bringing in positivity. So the cleanliness brings positivity. Happens to all temples as well, that all the dirt is removed.
For some, Diwali will mark the beginning of a new year. Diwali is also a celebration of the Hindu goddess of wealth and fortune, Lakshmi. In India's early agrarian society, Diwali coincided with the last harvest before winter, a time to pray for Lakshmi for good fortune. Today, Indian businesses still consider Diwali the first day of the financial year. It is also the social high point for Indians as people buoyed by festive cheer, throwing parties, meeting friends and family and exchanging gifts. The festival will also mark 25th anniversary of the BAPS Swaminarayan Temple.
Diwali and the next day, that is our New Year's, people come to worship God, offer their devotion, and that's where all of this is going to be displayed as a form of devotion to God.
We go to people's house, celebrate with them, connect, make our connections stronger and stay united. So that is how we celebrate it.
Reporting for My Culture, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
And the festivities have officially begun right here on KBC Channel 1. I'd like to wish all our Hindu followers and, of course, viewers a very happy Diwali. Remember, after this new segment, we're going to be talking about Diwali and what it entails. We have the entire shebang, as we like to call it, when it comes from music to dance to fashion. So we'll be talking about that later on the second segment of Easy Friday. But for now, let's get back to the bulletin. Controversial Kilifi-based preacher Paul Mackenzie has been found guilty of using unclassified films and operating a studio without the valid filming license. Mackenzie was facing 3 counts but was acquitted in the first charge on incitement to disobedience of the law and found guilty in the 2 others. While giving the judgment, Malindi Senior Resident Magistrate Onalo Olga said Mackenzie will be sentenced on December 1st. Details of this in the Scales of Justice segment. Take a look.
Controversial Good News International leader Pastor Paul Mackenzie got a major blow on Friday after Malindi Court found him guilty of broadcasting films and operating studio without the Kenya Film Classification Board license to the public. While giving the judgment, Malindi Senior Resident Magistrate Onalo Olga said the convict will be sentenced in December 1st. Mackenzie was being remanded for 208 days since April 15 this year. He's accused for the deaths of 429 persons whose bodies were exhumed from the Chakaula forest. He's yet to be accused in that case together with his followers. Ruth Wamboy for Easy Friday.
Kwani umefly?
Siku hizi barabara ni nywee.
Kenya Roads Board is committed to ensure an efficient road network for a prosperous nation. Kenya Roads Board, your fuel levy network.
Cheza Loto Moto.
School fees ya mtoto imelipwa, lakini bado tunataka kuendelea throughout.
Loto Moto imekuja kwa maisha yetu when I needed it the most. That is all I can say for now. I'm so grateful. May God bless you.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
All right, let's delve into matters business, where the forest community of the Ogiek is now calling on the government to hold consultations over Mau Forest Complex evictions. This and much more in the county's news roundup.
Classrooms. Addressing the media in Nairobi, the community through its chairperson Isaac Tobiko urged policymakers to offer compensation for material and moral damages suffered by the community during the evictions.
Immediately stop the evictions of the Ogiek in Sasimwani village, Narok County. 2, advise those government agencies carrying out the evictions of the existence of a legal carrying out the evictions of the existence of a legally binding ruling of the African Court of Human and People's Rights that demands the government of Kenya to respect and implement it.
Meanwhile, in Narok County, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, led by Deputy Chief Executive Officer Philip Ole Kamoro, has closed down 75 health facilities that did not meet the threshold of the council. The council had inspected 255 facilities in the county.
We are working with the National Police Service. We are working with the county government to be able to ensure that we bring sanity in this health sector, the way the president aspires to achieve. We urge the public, because it's a public leaking. When you visit a center, don't please share to another center that there are people coming. Because when you do so, it is you who is suffering. Because that person who is treating you is unqualified. Next time it will be you who will collapse and being taken to that facility, or your relative.
Elsewhere in Kajiado County, Deputy President's spouse Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has led widows in Loitoktok, Kajiado County in a tree planting exercise ahead of the national tree planting launch by President William Ruto on Monday.
Kiendelea kutoka hapa, hii miche ambaye tumepanda hapa, tutakuwa tukiwanunulia. Na pia kwa mashamba yenu, kwa sababu naona tumepatiwa kiwango ya milioni 2.
In Mombasa County, the county government has unveiled a 25-year action plan that has prioritized actions on achieving climate change adoption and mitigation.
We are looking at clean cooking options on forestry. We have restoration, participatory restoration proposals for our degraded ecosystem.
And in Kiambu County, the county government is to actualize the universal health coverage, a move that will reduce the number of patients in hospitals.
The Ministry of Health deeply acknowledges the values and the substantial contribution that this institution makes through its state-of-the-art treatment for non-communicable diseases, with a special focus on cancers by making the services available to Kenyans. That is.
Finally, Machakos County is in the process of recruiting 900 teachers and constructing 18 classrooms.
Moving on, farmers will be charged 70 shillings per 90 kilo bag for drying their maize. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linchuri says the government has acquired more than 100 dryers that have been strategically availed at National Cereals and Produce Board depots in maize growing areas to help reduce post-harvest losses.
The government has procured more than 100 grain dryers to mitigate against post-harvest losses of especially maize as farmers in key bread basket areas harvest this season's produce. The purchase of dryers have been done to help farmers dry their maize even as heavy rains are experienced in most parts of the country. And now Agriculture Cabinet Secretary says the cost of the service has been set at 70 shillings per 90 kilogram bag of maize.
We have around 17 warehouses in the country that have capacity to store over 4 million bags so that our maize is properly stored.
Ninturi further says the National Cereals and Produce Board depots have started buying maize targeting 1 million bags.
Because any farmer who is under pressure to sell his maize because he wants to get money to go and buy fertilizer or plant, we have put in money at the Agricultural Finance Corporation, which is our farmers' bank. And the interest is below 10% for us to be able to support our farmers to grow these seasonal crops.
He also announced the government will significantly reduce the cost of sexed semen in efforts to increase milk production from the current 5.2 billion litres to 12 billion litres annually.
We also expect by June or July next year, we will not only be giving or serving or selling or availing the market the sexed semen. Kenya Animal Research Genetics Center, KBC, we are getting into the process, or we are going to launch our embryo transfer plant.
We are looking at this sector being sustainable in terms of productivity, utilization of our installed capacity. We are currently having an installed capacity of 5 million litres a day, and we are barely halfway in terms of utilization of the infrastructure that is in place because of the seasonality.
They were speaking during the launch of the Kenya Dairy Industry Sustainability Roadmap Report.
We firmly believe that this comprehensive framework will transform the sector and serve as a compass for stakeholders as they forge ahead on their sustainability journey. Together, let us strive towards a common goal of building a sustainable dairy industry in Kenya.
Alanoko, Easy Friday.
Meanwhile, a shortage of transformers as a result of vandalism and theft of transformers is to blame for erratic electricity supply in some areas. The National Assembly Energy Committee is calling on Kenya Power to install trackers on transformers to curb theft, as well as consider procuring them locally to address supply challenges.
Increase the allocation for street lighting project by 50 million, increase the allocation for hydro dams, water catchment reforestation project by 50 million, increase the allocation for installation of transformers in constituencies by 100 million, and increase the allocation for electrification of public facilities by 100 million.
Find that a place like Marsabit, the entire county, especially Marsabit and the south of Marsabit, depended on one small off-grid generator. And for the last few months, actually 1 year, that town is in total darkness. I just want to understand, as you allocate all this stuff in these places, where does the special generators or replacement generators fall?
It is sad when you are the producers of electricity and then you don't enjoy it. What we should do is claim the local content, claim that portion, so that then there is acceleration of the projects on account of now the distribution lines based on you being the source. There is no single transformer in the country, in any of the Kenya Power stores. If you now move right now, I dare you that if any transformer you spot, it will be a transformer that has been repaired because it's been removed somewhere to repair to return it. There is simply no single transformer. The problem is litigations. We have so many batches of so many meters and transformers where now people go to court and stop the process.
Kenya Power shareholders have approved the restructuring of the board of directors that will see the interests of minority shareholders safeguarded in line with good corporate governance practices. Kenya Power Board chairperson Joy Brenda Masinde says the proposed changes are aligned with the government's commitment to transform the company into a commercially viable entity.
The Kenya Kwanza government made a promise that one of the things they were going to do was enable the Kenya Power and Lighting Company to operate as a commercially viable entity by disengaging government interests to allow for the company to grow as a commercial enterprise. So to this end, one of the things that we have tried to attain is embrace better governance in the company by giving the minority shareholders a stake and a say in the company. Up until now, the choice of directors who served on the board of directors was almost solely the decision of the majority shareholder. And therefore, by making this simple change today during the EGM, where the company shareholding has been declassified into Class A and Class B shares, the minority shareholders get to play in a league by themselves where they get to elect for director. This is in representation of the proportionate nature of the shareholding. So the government having 50.1% of the shareholding, they get to nominate or to appoint 5 directors. And the other shareholders, because they hold 49.9% of the company, they get to elect 4 shareholders.
Now, Kenya and United States are in advanced talks to identify areas of interest in agriculture and energy sectors. A meeting between the U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Megan Whitman, and the Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry, Rebecca Miano, highlighted need for an enhanced collaboration in the apparel sector by leveraging Kenya's renewable energy and young population for supply chain diversification.
The U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Ambassador Megan Whitman, paid a significant courtesy call on the Cabinet Secretary for Investment, Trade and Industry, Rebecca Miano. During the meeting, the two highlighted the vital role of a robust partnership between the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry and the U.S., emphasizing its potential to bolster inbound investments to Kenya and act as a catalyst for increased industrialization and trade promotion. The talks also focused on modernization of agriculture, highlighting opportunities in pyrethrum, potatoes, cotton, and solar-powered irrigation and water storage. On the one-stop shop for investment, they committed to streamline processes for businesses to enhance the ease of doing business. Going forward, the Trade Cabinet Secretary and Ambassador Whitman committed to deepen the strategic business dialogue between Kenya and the U.S., with a special focus on facilitating small businesses and leveraging existing relations between the two countries for the mutual benefit of Kenyans and Americans. Miano extended an invitation to American businessmen and tourists to witness and enjoy the offerings of Nairobi, now recognized as the world's best city to visit and invest. Frederick Mwoki for Easy Friday.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Auntie akona ka forehead. Akona the mark of quality.
Ameke rough denel shetani over.
Nataka kumaliza mambo hiyo wedding.
Umenimaliza kama chai kwa kikombe. September, October.
Ni kama tu nikuje nikwambie uko na kichwa kubwa. Sasa makosa si
au sio? Ndio manake. Okay.
Every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karan Patel. Harambe Stars tactician Engin Firat has unveiled a 28-man provisional squad ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Gabon and Seychelles. Orlando City's Nabi Kibunguchi, Muranga Seals Eric Balecho and KCB's Hanif Wesonga have earned their maiden call-ups. Gaborone United Duncan Otieno, Elfsborg Timothy Ouma and Romanian-based Eric Johanna also made a return to the team. Stars will face Gabon on November 16th in Franceville before taking on Seychelles on November 20th in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. The team is set to hold its first training session on Saturday. Kenya has been drawn in Group F of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers alongside Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, Gambia, Burundi and Seychelles. Moving on, Eugene Sifuna and Ephraim Oduor are among the 5 replacements made to the Simba's starting 15 ahead of Saturday's Elgon Cup return clash against Uganda at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Kisumu. The match will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
Eugene Sifuna returns to start at Tuka after missing the tour of Uganda due to academic commitments. He will be partnered by Ephraim Oduor and Ephraim Oduor. The duo start ahead of Will White, Mususi and Teddy Akala, were among the match day replacements.
We're working hard, we're working on our set piece plays because we didn't get to execute them well in the past game, and in this game we'll probably get more chances to do them well.
Elekins Musonye returns at open flank after starting last Sunday's 21-20 loss to Uganda from the bench, as Paul Mutasmi is given the nod at inside centre, partnering with Byreson Adaka in midfield, while Derek Ashiundu returns to the wing, replacing Alfred Orenge, who misses out on the match day squad through injury. Also missing out on the match day squad are Emmanuel Otieno, Reynard Mwalati and Walter Okoth, while Andrew Matoka has made a good recovery to be included among the replacements. Shem Okola starts from the bench and is in line for his debut. John Kubu and Brian Wahinya swap places in the positional changes made to the backline. Kubu starts at fly half with Wahinya slotting in at fullback. The match will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
Kenya Police FC registered a deserved 2-0 win over Ulinzi Stars in a closely contested Football Kenya Federation Premier League match played at Police Sacco Stadium in Nairobi. Police FC opened the scoring in the 58th minute before adding the second in the 71st minute. The law enforcers are now placed 9th on the log with 14 points, while Ulinzi Stars occupy position 10 with 13 points. In other matches, Talanta FC defeated Muhoroni Youth 2-0, while Kakamega Homeboys humbled Sofapaka 5-0. Posta Rangers currently top the log with 21 points ahead of Gor Mahia and Muranga Seal FC, who complete the top 3 positions.
Anaondoka uzuri, achezwa Abud Omar Habe anaimimina nzuri, Matase anaigusa nafasi. Abud Omar Habe Abud Omar Habe Abud Omar Habe.
Still in football, Muranga Seals head coach Gabriel Kindi is optimistic his Chargers will register good results when they take on defending champions Gor Mahia on Saturday in an eagerly awaited Football Kenya Federation Premier League match at Kasarani Stadium. The two teams occupy positions 2 and 3 on the log with 20 points each.
Boniface Awino!
Defending champions Gor Mahia will have a difficult task of defending their unbeaten run when they host Murang'a Seals at Kasarani Stadium.
Kuna pressure. Nisi tunaichukua tu kama game hii nyingine. Hata Tusker pia wamekuwa champions na hakuna pressure ilikuwa tunawaogopa ama nini. Sisi tunajipanga tu vile sisi tumekuwa tukipiga hizo game zingine.
The two teams have 20 points each on the log from 10 outings. Murang'a Seals has so far won 6 matches and lost 2, and a win will see them halt Gor Mahia's run.
Jana wako tu kama hivyo uliwaona wakicheza na Tusker na hata zile mechi zingine. Gor Mahia nafikiria mimi kama coach si kitu kubwa sana. Maana yake si mara moja nimecheza nao nikiwa timu tofauti. Kwa hivyo vijana nimewaambia tu wa avoid mambo ya kusikiza mafan au wa concentrate na game na najua watakuwa na game nzuri.
Once a club has the confidence that they've got sound financial base, then you'll see that confidence going to the players, and that is where the performance will come from. If players have doubts about their next payslip or have doubts about their income, then it will definitely affect their performance.
In other matches on the card, Tusker will host City Stars, FC Leopards takes on Posta Rangers, KCB play Bidco United, Nzoia Sugar will visit Shabana while Kariobangi Sharks take on Bandari. For Easy Friday, I'm Sela Onyango.
Thank you, Sela, for that report. It's all systems go ahead of this weekend's Chapa Dimba Rift Valley Region final matches at Nakuru ASK Showground. The clinic for players and coaches for the 8 teams that are set to take part was held on Friday ahead of the finals. The clinic provided an opportunity to empower players and coaches with skills beyond the pitch, offering training on various aspects of life, skills, social values and financial management skills. The players and coaches were also taken through the tournament's regulations. The teams will battle it out for the regional title, 250,000 Kenya shillings cash prize and a chance to represent the Rift Valley region in the national finals.
Vijana wako psyched up, wako motivated kucheza regionals which itakuwa Nakuru. Again pia hiyo ni kilisha Nakuru katika michezo hizi.
And finally, Kenyans Karan Patel and Uganda's Jazz Magat will renew their FIA Africa Rally Championship rivalry in the season's closing ASAS Rally of Tanzania this weekend. Karan enjoys a 9-point advantage over Magat on the ARC log.
Uganda Yasin Nasa has an outside chance after a bad outing in Zambia where he retired last month, but Karan only needs a podium finish in order to win the coveted title currently held by Ndola-based Leroy Gomes. Karan and his partner Tafif Khan were the star attraction at the last year ARC series, and despite beating Gomes in glittering fashion on his home turf in Zambia's season finale, the Kenyan speedster saw the title elude him after a spirited fight. Despite keeping the crowd pulling Pearl of Africa, Uganda Rally and Rally Bandama of Ivory Coast, Karan bounced back with 4 wins in Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi and Zambia to snatch the lead from long-time leader Nasa. Karan enjoys a 9-point advantage over Mangat on the ARC log, but Nasi will also be waiting just in case of the top 2 falter. Another Kenyan driver, Hamza Anwar, will be hoping to defend the FIA RC junior title against local driver Charles Nyerere. Nyerere leads the junior category with 78 against Hamza's 60. The one program of the rally revs up on Saturday at midday at the Asas farm in Mutembo and ends at the Asas Energies in Gimbuilo. For Easy Friday, I'm Sela Onyango.
Sela's report brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. My name is Karan Kibet. My colleague Shiksha Arora joins me. Happy Diwali, Shiksha.
Thank you so much, Karen. And I mean, you can say it loudly because we've got a whole lot of people here that you have to wish, and we wish them for sure.
And I can't wait. So don't change that dial because Shiksha will take you through everything you need to know in detail about Diwali.
Absolutely. So I'll see you on the other side of the studio. Thank you so much for tuning in to KBC Channel 1. This has been the news part of the Bulletin. Remember, we'll do it again next week, but you can't go anywhere because coming up on the other side, we've got all things Diwali, from music to fashion to dance. Stay right here. You'll get to know what Diwali really is and what it entails in terms of the culture. So we'll give you all those details. Our sign language interpreter has been Brian Muraru. I'll see you on the other side.
We've gone ahead tukamaliza pia school fees ya your other kid.
Thank you God. Asante sana Loto Moto.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Patel? It's Sanjay. Why does everyone think our names are Patel? My name is Sanjay, period. Sanjay.
I want to marry 3 wives at the same day. They both say at the same time, I do.
Wanaume wacheni umpeya. Just speak it out so that every one of us can get the joke.
You would understand it even if we drew it for you.
Are we about to witness a case of domestic violence? Man down. We have to save Kinanzi. We have to save our common land. Wait.
Listen,
Girlfriends.
Final of the inaugural African Football League, showcasing the best of African club football, enters the second leg this Sunday.